Today we will be solving problems involving rates and unit rates. In this lesson, we'll address the following two standards, 6 RP3 and 6 RP3B. In our first example here, we have a machine that can pack 70 boxes of spaghetti in 5 minutes. And so we want to figure out how many boxes it can pack in 8 minutes. Now, if the question asks us how many boxes of spaghetti can it pack in 10 minutes, that'd be pretty easy to figure out because we could multiply everything by 2 because there are 2 5 minutes and 10 minutes. But there's not an easy way to go from 5 minutes to 8 minutes. So, first thing we should do is we take the information we're given, and just like in our previous lesson, we want to calculate the unit rate. So we're going to take the unit rate, we're going to divide both of these by 5, and so we would calculate a unit rate of 14 boxes per minute. Excuse me. Now that we know that we have a unit rate of 14 boxes a minute, and we want to know how many boxes we can get in 8 minutes, we would then take our unit rate times 8, and we would get an answer of 112 boxes. So for number 1 here, we can apply what we did on our previous example. We have a unicycle wheel that makes 196 revolutions in 7 minutes. So for the first part, we want to know how many revolutions would it make in 1 minute. So in order to figure out how many revolutions it makes in 1 minute, we would take that 196 revolutions and divide it by 7. 7 goes into 19 twice, goes into 56 8 times. So we would get an answer of 28 revolutions per minute. And now that we know the unit rate, we want to figure out how many revolutions does it make in 15 minutes. So we're going to take what it does in 1 minute, multiply that by 15. And we would find that the wheel would make 420 revolutions. For number 2 here, same idea. Megan babysits for 5 hours and earns $60. So if we want to know how much she earns in 1 hour, we're going to take what she earns in 5 hours, divide it by 5, to get that she makes $12 an hour. And so if we want to figure out how much she earns if she babysits for 14 hours, we take what she earns times how long she works. And we would find that she would get $168. Excuse me. So we have a table here that shows the fees at a parking lot. We see that the first hour is free, the second hour is $1.75, and after the second hour, it's $2.50. So if Ben had parked his car there from 9 to 2, we want to figure out how much he paid for parking. So since you're charged based on the hours, might be a good idea, and this is not the only way to do this one, but it does help you organize your information, is break his parking down into 1 hour chunks. So we'd park at 9, and that goes to 10, and then 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, and then finally 1 to 2. And then once you have those broken down, you can determine how much you're charged for that hour. Well, the table says that the first hour is free. So from 9 to 10, he owes nothing. 10 to 11 would be the second hour, and the second hour charges $1.75. And then after the second hour, it's $2.50 per hour. So for each additional hour, you're being charged $2.50. Add all those together, and you would find that you are charged $9.25. Excuse me. So Tom rented a bicycle from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the same day, and we want to know how much he paid for renting the bicycle. Well, the letter table says first hour, it's $3, and then for every additional half hour, it's $2.50. So you could, again, break down your time, and you're charged for the first hour, but then it says you're charged for every additional half hour. So you could break it down into 30-minute time slots. One thing you want to be very careful of when doing this is to not have any time gaps. So making sure you're getting all of those hours and half hours in there, and you're not missing a chunk of time, because that would affect, of course, your final answer. So you'll see I've broken this down into those half-hour time slots. And then I can put my information in. Well, for the first hour, from 10 to 11, that's $3. And then for every additional half hour, it's $2.50. So for all of these half-hour time slots here, I'm going to put in $2.50. Okay. And then to get that answer, I add all of those up. Okay. I'm going to wait here just a second, because what you could also do on this one, you could still break it down by hours. And the reason that you can do that is because for every 2 half hours, you get 1 hour. So where it says for every additional half hour, it's $2.50. Well, every hour would then be $5. So you could also set your table up this way. Again, you would add those up, and you'd get $18. Well, let's see if we get $18 over here. Well, these two 250s would give us 5. These two 250s would give us 5. And these two 250s would give us 5. 5, 10, 15, $18. Excuse me. So comparison shopping is something that many of us will do in our lives. So this would be a perfect example of when am I going to use this outside of class. So Andy needs new batteries for his video game controller. He is trying to decide between 2 brands. Brand A costs $3.20, but it will last for 20 hours. Brand B costs $2.80, but it should last for 14 hours. So we need to determine which battery Andy should buy. So we have 2 ways that we could do this. We could figure out what the cost per hour is, or we could figure out how many hours per dollar he gets out of the batteries. I would strongly suggest that we use the first one, and we figure out the cost per hour. So for brand A, it's $3.20 for 20 hours. Brand B is $2.80 for 14 hours. So if we want to determine excuse me, cost per hour, we take $3.20 and divide it by 20. And brand A is going to cost us 16 cents per hour. So for brand B, if we want to find cost per hour, we will find that it costs us 20 cents per hour. So our choice should be brand A, because it's cheaper per hour. And then finally for today, we have Chloe scoring 87 points in 5 basketball games. Fiona scored 45 points in 2 basketball games. Which of the 2 players scored more points per game? So for Chloe, we're going to take 87 and divide it by 5. You could stop here and write a mixed number, or you could put your decimal point on with a 0. And we would find that Chloe scores 17.4 points per game. For Fiona, same idea, except she only plays 2 games. She scores 45 points. At this point, we could technically stop because we would know that Fiona has more points per game, but we're going to keep going because we're not going to quit here. Again, you could write a mixed number here or put the decimal point and 0 on. And we would find that it is, in fact, Fiona who scores more points per game. And that is all for today's portion of the lesson. As always, I hope this helps.